What if you could get paid for engagement on Twitter? Well, now you can. Reach Protocol enables projects to reward their community for simply liking, retweeting, or commenting on a tweet. It's very hard to grow a business. In Web 2, businesses achieved massive growth through paid channels, ads, and influencer marketing. You needed massive amounts of capital in order to achieve this. Crypto flips the script by removing the middleman and enabling businesses to pay their users directly for boosting their content and helping them grow. In today's Growth Mindset episode, we are joined by Harold and Emmanuel, founders of Reach Protocol, to break down how Reach enables quality engagement rewarding between projects and their users. We also discuss the direct peer-to-peer connection and how much of an unlock this is for founders and users, as it creates a win-win system that is based on adding value rather than abstracting value. We talk about how projects are seeing 50x engagement through the Reach protocol. And we also discuss the state of SocialFi, AdFi, and the social media advertising in Web3. GM, welcome to Web3 Academy, your one trusted source to capitalize on the next big phase of the internet. I'm Jay Bird, and I believe that SocialFi is going to change the world. That's why we're carving a path for doers to confidently build and invest in Web3. GM, Harold, Emmanuel, welcome to Web3 Academy.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us on Web3 Academy. Exciting.
I am also equally excited for today's conversation. It's not often I get not one punk, but two punks on the show. That I think that this might be the first time we've ever had two punks on the show. So that's an exciting moment, you know? Usually we only have one guest, so maybe that's why we've never had two punks at once. But you guys both have beautiful punks. So I got to shout you out on that first. Also, need to shout you guys out on your recent raise. What I loved about your recent raise was that you focused instead on the more traditional ways to raise capital. You focused a lot on getting influential crypto influencers, getting crypto influencers to be the main funding behind your raise. Seed Phrase, Zeneca, Pranksy, G Money, a lot of the big names in the space. That was really exciting to see, because to me, that is a future of the way we think we might see more projects doing raises. And it really speaks to what you guys are building is believed in by the builders and founders in the space. They want to use a product like Reach, which we're going to jump into. So let's start. I don't know which one of you guys wants to take this first question. I'll let you guys decide. But obviously, Reach is a SocialFi platform. It is a quality engagement rewarding tool that is aiming to help crypto projects improve their engagement on crypto Twitter. But I think that you guys started Reach because you were aiming to fix some of the problems that a lot of projects have right now and how they get their community to engage. And I'd love to start there. What are the problems that you guys first discussed when you first started Reach that really led you to building this product?
We can both take this one because we're like both project founders in the space in Web3. Myself, Harold, as a fractionalized art, very exotic project that is a mix of Web 2, Web 3, and myself, vintage photo NFT project, where we faced a lot of problem by promoting a project, promoting a product in Web 3 is not easy, especially if you like start an account from scratch. So that's where we really like try to solve this problem of promoting, and then and at the same time, on the other side of the equation, there's like a ton of people on Twitter that don't earn anything through the creator earning program that Elon introduced last year. That's the way we started, I think, Harold.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. I think, as Emmanuel said, the greatest challenge for anyone building, and I think in any industry, is attention and reach, and this attention economy that we have. The X algorithm is a hard one to crack. Some may even say it's broken. And the way people generally go about it, especially in Web3 where ads don't work, right? I think actually even recently I saw someone did an analysis on crypto ads, and it was like 90% of them were honeypots or drainers, and the rest were nothing. So people are immune to ads in Web3. And so what you revert to, it's this pay influencer model. So these guys that are, you pay them, some ETH to post a tweet, it's an opaque pricing structure. It always falls flat. You never actually get the value out of it. And so how do you get more impressions, more reach on your key pieces of comms and your content? That's the kind of a struggle that both Emmanuel and myself found with our previous projects. But then also you have within a community, and that can be an artist community, that could be a project, a protocol, even its greatest champions or advocates are reticent to show support for two reasons, I think. One is, on the one hand, we all curate our shop front, which is our Twitter profile or our Instagram profile, whatever. If you care about that and you're building a social presence, you care about what it looks like. So you're not going to be shilling everything and anything as it comes. But also, everyone is putting out so much content all the time that even if I didn't want to support a project, a community, a tribe that I'm a part of, I don't even know which are the pieces of comms or content that would be beneficial for them, for me to amplify through my network. There's no way for me to highlight this. And so taking all of these things into account, we kind of came up with the reach protocol to kind of tackle getting better engagement, getting more reach on your comms, and in this Web3 ethos, in a non-value extracting way, being able to reward those that are active participants and the key to basically amplifying your comms and to your success ultimately.
All about incentivization, all about a balance, all about the good knowledge of as well how the Twitter algorithm work, and also how Web3 is a very special industry in a way. So you need the code. You need to. I don't think anyone could build the way we're building it in a very decentralized manner unless you've been, working in the space as project founder, investor, collector, trader. We can come back to that.
Okay, so there's a problem that exists that you identified in Web3, which is this challenge of growth, right? It's very difficult. You start a new project. How do you get the users? How do you attract new users to you? The Web 2 way to do this would be just to do paid advertising, which, as you mentioned, it's very difficult to do it well in Web 3 and in crypto. So what it led to was this state we're in right now where really a bunch of crypto influencers kind of control everything. And there's a lot of shilling. We don't even know if it's shilling. It can be really scammy a lot of the times. So there's a lot of issues that exist with this. So you've launched Reach Protocol. Give us an example. How does Reach solve this problem? How does it work?
We can take a very simple example of, let's assume that you're a photographer. You have a Twitter account. You don't know where to start. You have a decent Twitter account, but most of your followers are probably not they like your photo, but they're probably not a collector. Or you would onboard on the platform for a step-by-step. You would onboard on the platform. You would connect a burner through our Discord, a burner wallet, what we call a hot wallet. And then you would also connect your Twitter account, which is where we ask a minimum API permission, which is just a read permission. And then you would have access to the Discord, the web app, and you'll need to have either some Ethereum or some Reach token to create what we call a mission, where once you have either ETH or Reach token, you create a mission. It will pop up for all the users, and they're incentivized to interact and engage. We'll come back to that, but we have different type of missions. But basically, we will trigger the creation. The act of creating a mission will trigger a pop-up where the users will know there is a new missions. They will see what they need to interact. It will direct them to your tweet, and then within, could be depending on the mission, from 1 hour to 48 hours, they will have to engage, and then at the end of the mission, our script will basically reward those people.
And
what's an example of a mission?
I'll give you an example. So Web3 Academy has a new a podcast coming out, right? This one. And you have your listeners that are generally there. Those that find value, they'll like and comment and retweet, but it's not necessarily the fact. And so Reach, it does two things. One, it acts as a way to get new eyeballs on your podcast. And it does that by, you create a mission, which is you tweet and you say, new podcast is out, here's the link. You take a link to that tweet, you create a mission with it, just a link to that tweet, and you append a reward to it. What do you want to reward people for participating? It can be anything from $30 up to, thousands of dollars. Anybody who participates, that's like, comment, retweet, quote, retweet, will be getting points different points depending on their action. Once they do that, the rewards are then split. There's a few different ways that the rewards are split, but they'll be rewarded with that, let's call it $500 for their participation. And the way that they participate is like, comment, retweet, quote, retweet, but they have multipliers on their points depending on the quality of their interaction. So that's two algorithms that we've built. One is a multiplier on the quality of your profile. So if I'm someone that is a value adding person on Twitter, has relevant followers, I'm value adding in every way that I'm interacting on Twitter, I'll have a higher reach score, what we call. I'll therefore have more points when I like, comment, and retweet. I'll therefore have more chances of winning the reward. The other one algorithm is AI powered, and that's called relevancy based rewarding. And that is on everything that you're typing. So if I'm commenting or if I'm quote retweeting on your tweet, if I comment on your, you say Web3 Academy, we're talking to Reach, and then I comment LFG fire emoji, amazing. That works. But if someone else comes and says, wow, that was really interesting, I faced the same challenges in my business, and actually I haven't found much help, much success using Twitter ads. This may be an alternative. That's something that shows relevancy, value add, and effort. And so we rate that better. That also has more propensity to generate organic discussion under my comment, and therefore amplify your tweet or your content through the X algorithm. We'll rate that better. You'll have more points, more chances of winning the reward. And so that mission is pushed out throughout our whole network, and that's how you get more eyeballs.
When I said that when you create a mission, it's going to trigger our users to come and interact. To explain it, we're not so much a social file. Maybe you're thinking about friend tag. I think in a way we're like an amplify, because we give you this boost when you tweet something. We give you a boost and kick you through the Twitter algorithm within the first hours, which is really key. And then that's when you have the most chance to appear on the most people's timeline. So we amplify the reach, basically.
What I love about this is it connects back to the original ethos of Web3 and blockchain, which is peer-to-peer, right? Like, let's remove the middlemen. One of the biggest issues with Web2 was we created all of these middlemen who take fees and have way too much control. Well, why not I would rather do what you're saying. I could pay for a Twitter ad and the money goes to Twitter, and they're using their algorithm to decide whether that Twitter ad is going to be successful or not, which is completely out of my control. Or I could go directly to, I guess what I'm hearing is I could go to two groups of users. I can go to your community and post the mission, and your community will engage because they'll say, oh, I care about this theme. I care about this category. I know you guys categorize missions. So maybe there's, oh, I care about NFTs, or I care about DeFi, or whatever the various categories are. And, oh, I want this incentive. Or I assume I could connect my own Discord server to this, and then I could incentivize the people in my community, which is really the amplification that you're talking about. Like, again, this is why airdrops are working so well right now as a growth mechanic, way better than we've seen growth in Web 2. Like in Web 2, there was a moat that was so difficult to cross because you needed so much capital to get the reach and to get the users. But now with crypto, you can go peer-to-peer. You can say, hey, I'll put money in your pocket if you help me grow. Reach enables that to happen seamlessly, so I don't have to think about it. And boom, we both win. I get the growth I'm looking for. I get the reach that I'm looking for. How many times are we going to say reach on this podcast, by the way? And you, the user, gets $1, a couple bucks. And that might seem like a little, and I don't know, you mentioned that the rewards can range from like $1 to like thousands of dollars. But I think that a lot of users in a lot of the world, it's not necessarily about getting rich off this stuff. It's about little micropayments, and those micropayments can add up. And a lot of times you're doing this anyways. You're probably these users are already doing this stuff. They're just not getting rewarded. Anyway, so I'm just getting excited.
And I think an important point to add to that, and that's something that we really wanted to make sure happened when we conceived this thing, is 100% of all of the rewards that a mission creator puts in goes back to all the network participants, so the people that are actually engaging. We don't take any fees off of that. So again, everything that you're putting in as a mission creator goes to the people that are helping you get the word out for that piece of comms. That was really important for us.
What about the risk of fake accounts trying to game reach and trying to game this system? How do you manage that?
We have few ways to mitigate that. First one being the health check requirement. Second one being the risk level. So you want to make it the most complicated for those people that try to game. So they will need to have like an account that is old enough to have, which is the first thing. They will need to have like a minimum follower. We have a massive sample of what we qualified as good accounts because we know in the space for a while, so we know that those are like legit accounts. Whenever there will be an overlap and a cross following with like a certain percentage of those accounts, this will increase the chance of it not being a bot. And then we like the reach level takes. We don't want to give away the secret sauce, but it's few like KPIs ratios of like engagement ratios on Twitter to retweet ratio. It's a formula basically where you go to the stage where you onboarded, then you're a good account, So, but the random spammy bot account, they just don't make it through.
Yeah, and then the very nature of the two algorithms that that described, the reach score and the relevancy-based rewarding, means that if your account is not a quality account and the contributions that you're putting through, like the way that you comment and retweet, isn't value adding, then you're just not going to win any rewards, and so there's no incentive for you to do that. So these guys that are, I don't know, running bot farms and stuff, first of all, they wouldn't get through our initial health check. And even if you did have this mentality of, let me try to gamify the system, it actually goes against the very, the way that we quantify everything. And so you won't win any rewards. So there's just no use to do it.
Let's talk about, I'm a founder. I mean, I literally am a founder. I was more so hypothetically speaking. Let's talk about, there's a project out there. They have exactly the problem that you're saying. They're sitting there, they're saying, okay, I want to increase my reach. What would your recommendations be to them? How much should they expect to spend on a mission? How would they structure it? And what sort of like return would they look at? How would they measure return? Is it an engagement rate? Is it a boost? Like, what would they be expecting in terms of results?
It's a very good question because we starting to touch on it. We have our key users that needs engagement. So let's call them clients. We have different type of people. We have the artist that needs to sell a one-to-one. We have the NFT project that needs to sell for, I don't know, 1,000 ETH. So this will need to like really and then we have like those like smaller like crypto tools where they launch a token. So it really depends. We also have like, I have in mind like at least 5 that like are like projects that have raised more than $5 million last year, where they have like budget. So they already have a certain scale. So it all depends. If you start like as a small account, a big account, as a bigger account, you already have like a number of like organic impression your tweet will generate. But no matter like how big you are or small you are, or obviously the smaller, the bigger the multiplier on your impression is going to be, because you start so low that let's say you have 200 followers. With reach, you're going to get easily 1 to 3 to 4,000 impressions, which is but for like a mid-average project that's been like, let's say they start to get to this marketing campaign where it's like money time. They have like 3 to 4 weeks to like really create like sort of a hype and get the right eyes on what they're doing. They will usually like do missions, what we call the regular missions, where they use the token for the non-important communications. And then for the most important communications, they would do like mission that cost like 0.1. So they will append a bounty of at least 0.1 ETH when it's start to like, to be a more important communication. That's what we've been experiencing so far. They usually get anytime between 5 to 10 times more views. Also, the thing about it is like we are like an organic quality engagement protocol where for some reason some people are gonna some users are gonna tend to engage and show more effort for some project that they like more than others. Some of our users are more like DeFi oriented, some are more like NFT oriented. So we have like categories that the users are going to pick when they're on board. So they will, I would say on average, if you run a campaign for like 3 to 4 weeks, you will use the reach token to do regular missions for like the non-important to start building, bringing more eyes and building a certain traction. And then whenever you have more important communication, whether it's like call to actions or whenever, you would append some ETH to do what we call a premium mission. That's what I've seen so far. And they're like projects that have like the one I told you that have like more budget, they will append 0.1 ETH for any like daily, non-important. And then whenever it's important, they will append 1 ETH, and they will get 100K views and they will, so depends on your budget and depends, obviously the ROI. We've run a lot of tests. I will can talk more on that, but so far, if you compare us to the alternative, they are like this influencer model. You have the Twitter ads, and you have what can be called collab management, the most cheaper and more organic and more quality alternative from what we've experienced for the last 3 months. So.
Yeah, I'd say it depends, your project. It depends on your marketing strategy. And like Emmanuel said, what's your budget? What you will get when you create a mission is between 40 and 50 times the engagement that you would get traditionally. It's an engagement rate varies between, let's say, 7 and 10%. I think the average on Twitter is like 0.035%. And it's like 3 to 5 times the impressions that you'd have generally. The marketing budget for crypto projects varies depending on what it is. Web3 gambling sites do a bunch of rewards and rakebacks and loyalty programs stuff. NFT projects, their marketing is often non-existent. It's often like perhaps merch, things like that. So it totally depends. What we've seen with the partners that have installed and are using the protocol in their servers is that as they start using it, they see an increased activation in their communities. And it serves two purposes. Not only are they able to get more eyeballs on their comms, on their important ones or less important ones, but at the same time, they get to reward their community, keep them active in the Discord, and actually give back. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, and it's been working really well for the guys that have been using it. Yeah.
For sure. Well, and one of the most exciting things about crypto is new capital formation. We've never had the ability to enable a user to participate in direct capital coming into their hands in this way, right? Like I said previously, the only way to do this was to pay for ads, and you're paying into a big company. Whereas now you have the average user in your community who cares about you, who likes you, who knows you, who wants to participate, as you said, Harold. And now they have the direct incentive through cash payout. Now, let me ask, is the bounty that I put up, so let's say I put up like 0.1 ETH, is that split based upon your algorithm? That's how it works, right?
It's a raffle mechanism where it's going to be anywhere between 5 to 10 winners for each of those raffles. So, it adds up.
Raffle. So even if I do participate and I have
so it's split. It's split.
We have
out of that, let's call it 1 ETH of rewards. 20% of that reward for each mission goes to a raffle for the people that specifically participate in that mission. And the rest goes to everybody participating in all missions Confused that are clipping points. We have 2-week distribution cycles, and they'll have their pro rata share of 80% of all of the rewards split among them. So that way, this was a way to assure to have both quality and volume. So the ones that are winning the raffles are the ones that for that specific mission have the highest points. How do you have the highest points? Like I said, you have the best quality profile and you have the best quality engagement. But everybody else is participating also is important because that's what brings you the volume, and they get their points and they get 80% of the rewards split amongst them. Yeah.
So there is
so far, since December, we've distributed over $150,000 of rewards to, I don't know, something like 3,000 people.
We have this like bi-weekly distribution. There is a leaderboard. So even though you have this premium mission with the raffle mechanism, it adds up we still give them a 20% to, because people that tend to win those raffles are people that tend to have like the good account, because they have like a multiplier. Someone that has like, I don't know, to give you an example, someone has like 25,000 followers, been on Twitter for 6 years, and has like a good account. Obviously, when he engages on your tweet, it's gonna bring you more visibility than like someone has like 500 followers. And I mean, if you understand the mechanics of the algorithm on Twitter, so that's how like we still keep percentage, which is 20% that goes to the raffle winners. It's anywhere between 5 or 10. We have like daily, more than, I don't know, like 20, 30, 50, depends, every day, of those premium raffles. And then we also have the regular missions that are created with the Reach token. So on every 2 weeks, we redistribute. It's been in Ethereum, it's been in Reach tokens. For me, the beauty of this is as a founder, I like to give a new tool for anyone that want to start a venture or get the right people looking at what they're doing. But what's the beauty of it is there is a ton of people that spend hours every day on Twitter, and in a way they're making like $200-300 every 2 weeks. Some people make even more. So and it's beautiful to reward those people, because it's a lot of money. You're just getting rewarded for spending a few hours a day on Twitter that you were already doing anyway. You Web3 Academy, but we also, in a way, we're an academy of like, I don't like to use the word teaching, but we people are learning, the users are learning how like to have sort of a good behavior on Twitter, and how to add value. And it's they're incentivized to have a good behavior and to add value, and to think about like how they engage, and how obviously
They
someone is going
actually
to do all the
improve.
missions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they get better at writing tweets because they learn, oh, that was not
Ex-
a relevant tweet. LFG, fire emoji, maybe doesn't hit
but
the algorithm as well, but they might not know that, right? So you're actually,
well,
I follow you that you're actually teaching them as well.
and they're growing their account as well. Their account are growing. Like
Yeah.
some guys that were with us from the very beginning, they tripled their account. They made connections. The example of this designer who like through the network of had 2 new jobs working on like 2 new projects, and then it's the true like Web3 ethos. That's the way we're building it.
Yeah. Everybody wins, right? Like WAGMI. We all don't want just the projects to win. We want our users to win as well, right? And that's what protocols like Reach enable. And what's so cool is, as you said, you're empowering and literally compensating people for doing what they were already doing and what they're passionate about. We've talked about for decades, everybody's always said like find what you love and like make that your career, right? Well, here's the problem. For 90% of the world, that's not possible right now, because you can't freaking make money doing what you love. Until more recently in Web 2, the creator economy came along, and like, that was a big boom, but that was very hard to get into, and you had to be an incredible creator, right? That's just not easy, right? There's a lot of hoops to jump and a lot of skills you have to have, and you got to buy hardware, and you got to buy tech, and you have to understand a lot of software, blah, 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 right? But now what we're saying is you can just be an average creator who's a user on Twitter, and you can now flow money into your wallet by just doing what you love, which is commenting and talking on Twitter all day. That's wonderful. It's so,
and
I think,
the cherry on the top for that is like those people, they found out about so many other projects that are like that you could form, or that you could and they, through Reach, by interacting, by engaging, they also like participated to the farming of this or that project. So they find out about those. And you're right.
Let's talk a bit about Reach token. You've brought it up a few times, that is used as a rewarding system. I don't want to go too deep into tokenomics, but I want to understand Reach token, how it's going to be used now and in the future. What are your plans for the Reach token?
I think it's twofold. To start, to make it simple, it's twofold. It's a utility token, as we are a tool. First utility is that you use the Reach token to create and purchase missions for those regular missions. We empower the ecosystem with it by like you create those missions with the token, but at the same time you reward people with the token. So it's twofold. And
So
then
if you're a project like Web3 Academy, if I want to set up a mission, I buy Reach tokens. That's the first thing I need to do. I pay in Reach tokens to build the mission. And then I can pay Reach tokens for the reward as well.
ETH for the reward, yeah.
ETH for the reward.
Then distributes a portion in ETH and a portion in Reach token.
You buy some Reach token, whether it's on the DEX or whether we're on like 3 central exchanges as well. You buy some Reach token, you go on a web app, you convert those Reach token with what we call credit missions, then you can start creating regular missions. And then on the other side of the equation, distribution is a bit like we're not going to go into the details of how we redistribute and the percentages, but basically users are rewarded also in Reach token. And then we have different sort of utility as a token holder. If you have 1,000 Reach token, you can participate to the premium missions where you can win some ETH.
That was going to be my next question is what's the incentive? So I'm a user, I receive Reach tokens, but I just go sell them into USDT because I want USDT. But so what you're saying is there is an incentive for me to hold.
You have an incentive to hold 1,000. You have an incentive to hold 10,000 because if you have 10,000, you get pro rata of the revenue share that we make every 2 weeks. If you have,
just by holding 10,000, I don't even need to participate.
Yeah, just by being a holder, you get every 2 weeks pro rata of the revenues. And then it's like a whale status, which is like 0.1% of the total supply. If you have 100,000 token, you have this special status that allow you to have each of your regular mission as a featured mission. We don't want to get too much into it works pretty well because users are incentivized to participate and engage really well on those because they have a multiplier on we give utility a little alpha, but because it's going to be we also in a few days we're integrating with a gift card provider, so you can also, if you don't switch let's say you participated this cycle, you won the equivalent of $100 in Reach token. You'll be able to it's called crypto card. You'll be able to buy a gift card of like Amazon gift card, Airbnb gift card with the Reach token. You won't have to swap and pay those like fees and spread and go on exchange, and you just like go on crypto card, you swap it. And then the utility is as we develop the product and try to get more granular the way we incentivize people, we always going to add back value and utility into the token, obviously, because it's the crypto, right? The value of your network is reflected within the value of the token. So
let's talk a little bit about any exciting missions or partnerships that you guys have right now. You just mentioned a partnership with the gift card company, but I guess I'm more so thinking about like missions. Are there any missions right now that are happening that are exciting? I mean, I guess by the time this comes out, these missions might be done because we're recording about a week or two before this podcast airs. But I would just love to highlight, like I know I saw a partnership with 9DCC recently, which is G Money's project. That's awesome to see. I'm assuming you're tapped into their Discord and now their members have incentive directly to boost 9DCC's Twitter posts. Is there any partnerships you guys want to highlight or talk about?
We have two sort of partnership. We have this, very important initiative, which is deploying the Reach solution within as many quality server as possible. So you gave the example of 9DCC and the Gmoney community. So as you said, now they have the Reach solution within the server. The users are engaging and getting rewarded, but at the same time, anything that Gmoney and the 9DCC server is putting as a mission is also being broadcasted on the Reach server. So now we have a long pipeline of affiliate server that we're deploying every day. I'm not sure we want to give up the names, but we're talking to basically everybody in the Web3 space. And then we have like other sort of initiatives which are more strategic, but they don't have anything to do with growing the user base and growing it's to give you an example, today we announced a partnership with a project called Trailblaze, which is a new launchpad that is starting in a month, backed by people that have like funds and are like involved in the space. And there's so many synergies in terms of like cross-selling, in terms of obviously they're launchpads, so they're gonna have like new project, new people trying to raise money for, and those people are gonna, those projects and entrepreneurs, they're gonna use Reach. So we thinking about like bringing new users to engage and to interact, but also bringing people that are gonna like in a way spend. We finalizing a partnership with some very big marketing agencies, whether it's Web2 or Web2, Web3 or Web2. We are talking to one of the largest European digital bank for like a broader partnership where like they integrate us within their like different tools, and they also invest. At the end of the day, we want to capture all the good audiences and they have like the good people. And so for us, it's affiliate servers, strategic partnerships are like the two, two key work streams.
And how does Reach make money?
The team, if you think about Reach as being the team, we have a token allocation to the team vested over the next 12 months. And that's more than enough, if we do well.
So you're not taking a fee on...
Well, no, so like I said, the Reach does, all the rewards go into back to the people who are participating. So we take no cut on there. The way that Reach as a business makes money is, we didn't touch on that, is on network commissions. And that's something that is going to be released very soon. As we've explained it right now, the way you create missions is you create missions and they get distributed into our server, or they get distributed into your own server if you're hosting the bot. You actually, when you create missions in your server, we automatically push that into our server as well, so you get that extra boost, even though the rewards are in majority within your community. You'll then be able to create a network mission and access all of the communities that are hosting the Reach bot. So for example, you don't even have to have your own server, but let's say you with Web3 Academy, you're like, man, I want to push this new podcast with Reach. I want to push it to the NFT Now community because it's perfect for them. So you'd be able to create a network mission and pay in order to distribute it into that server or into multiple other servers. That fee is where we'll make money. That fee is also one that we will split with the people, with the server owners that are accepting those missions within their servers. And so that's kind of our revenue model on the Reach side. But in terms of like rewards, no, we don't take any cut out of those rewards.
And if you think about it, the platform fees, as we said, they go back 100% to the token holders, people that own the token. And we as a team have like as I said, token allocation that's vested over 12 months. So we have obviously some token, and we incentivize to do well and grow. So we receive like the revenue share as well, but in Reach token, so
Right, because of this incentive you've built to hold the tokens means you get value accrual coming back to you as a token holder, right?
I mean, the more the addressable audience grows. And what's our addressable audience? It's the people that are participating, yes, but it's also all of the users that are on the Discords within which where the Reach bot is integrated. So there's a channel, it says missions. Whenever missions are pushed there, it's almost like a billboard, right? So as our addressable audience grows, then the value of that token in theory increases, because you need that token in order to distribute your mission, in order to pay that fee for network missions for that distribution. And it's essentially the tokenomics of this whole thing have been set up to be very healthy, to be a very healthy internal economy with a lot of sinks and buckets that allow for like a balanced ecosystem.
Yeah, well done. It's very well thought out. It makes a lot of sense. And I think that's one of the things that so many projects struggle with is, great, you can create a token and you can give somebody incentive to get that token through an airdrop or through a reward or whatever, but then can you incentivize them to hold the token? And we haven't seen enough projects which are doing what you're doing. We talk about this a lot at Web3 Academy, is like, this is coming. It's not really here yet, but this idea of revenue share, essentially, I'm going to use that bucket term to call revenue share flowing back to token holders, is like, that's a huge unlock that, everybody's talking about it on Uniswap. Everybody's waiting for the day that Uniswap does that. Who knows when or if they will, but that concept, and we've seen it with other tokens. A lot of the Telegram bots have done this model of revenue share flowing back to their token holders, but it makes a lot of sense for a lot of projects out there as a way to incentivize people to keep holding your token and to keep participating in your ecosystem, it's like, oh, wow, you're now going to get some revenue share as well. So I love that model. Great to see. Before we wrap up here, I want to give you guys a chance to give a little bit of shill for our listeners. Where can they find you guys on Twitter? And I think for two audiences, for founders that are interested in integrating Reach Protocol and starting missions for their project, how can they get involved? And then for users, for on-chain doers who are on Twitter and are passionate, how can they get involved in receiving some of those rewards from the missions?
Getreach.xyz is the website. That's how you can get onboarded. GetReachXYZ on Twitter as well. And if you're a project, a server owner, anybody who wants to integrate the solution into their ecosystem, get on the website, getreach.xyz, and there's a call to action there for affiliates. You can apply. We kind of take a very hands-on and white glove approach to integrating the protocol into your server at this stage to make sure that it's really tailored to your needs. And so you just fill out that form. We get back to you, within a couple hours, and we get the conversation going.
Awesome. That's super exciting. We'll put those links in the show note. Also going to put the links to both of you guys on Twitter. So I know you guys are both active on Twitter and you guys have great accounts. So encourage our listeners to go and follow you guys as well. Before we wrap here, we always like to do some fun speed round questions at the end. So I'm just going to hit you with some fun questions. First up, what's an NFT you'll never sell? Harold, you can go first.
I commissioned, how many were there? I think it was like 14 works from an artist that I love, an AI artist called Artemis, to commemorate the birth of both my daughters. I gave them out to people that supported me through my journey in crypto and Web3 so far. If I could today, months later, I would add a bunch of people. Emmanuel has one actually. That's one of, and I've kept one for myself and my wife, and that's one that I would never sell for sure.
Cool.
Emmanuel? One I would never sell. Obviously, the one Harold gifted me. I'll probably never sell it. Otherwise, I'm not the type of guy that never sells. Everything has a price. Everything has if there is a market for something, then, if you get out, how do you call that? Out, if it becomes, let's say, I could say I will never sell my punk, but
yeah, there's always a price.
It gets to a price where, or if I'm not in a rush, but if it gets to a price, I'm more the type of person that would sell something if there is a strong market for it. Yeah, I would say the Harold's gift, because
that's nice. That's nice. That's really cool that you did that, Harold. Okay, one thing you've bought recently for under $100 that brings you joy.
I would say a condom.
I thought you were gonna say a cigarette.
Ooh, that's a good question, man. For under $100, must be something food related. I wouldn't be able to answer. Most things cost under $100, and most things bring me joy. I find joy in a lot of things. So
that's good. That's good. Okay, last question. If you had a billboard that 1 billion people were going to see, what would you write on it?
COVID-20 is coming tomorrow, and then I will short the market. I will short and put it back.
You're the first one to say something like that. That's creative. Respect. What would you write for your daughters, Harold?
I don't know. I'm very bad at this stuff. Be here. No, that's not a good one. I was gonna say be here for a good time, not a long time, but I hope they're there for a long time too. I would say get Reach.
With a QR code to buy Reach tokens.
Exactly.
I love it. Gents, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. Thanks for joining the show. Excited to follow along with Reach, and definitely we'll get a quest or a mission going for when we launch this podcast as well.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for listening in, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Web3 Academy, your one trusted source to capitalize on the next big phase of the internet. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it and subscribe or follow so that you don't miss the next one. While you're at it, there's a link in the description for our free newsletter where we provide timely and relevant Web3 insights so you can confidently build and invest in Web3. Make sure to subscribe today. One final note. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Crypto and Web3 are risky, and you should never invest more than you're willing to lose. Thank you, friends, and see you in the next one.